Samir Sampatel was the sort of 20-something who could enumerate every generation of Wi-Fi like some people recited baseball stats. By day, he worked in the basement of Streamopolis City Hall, resetting routers for council members who thought an Ethernet cable was a designer necktie. By night, he watched cat parkour compilations while debating whether it was worth cleaning the Dorito dust out of his keyboard. None of that singled him out as superhero material, until a freak accident involving an experimental 6G exec access point, an improperly grounded surge protector, and a microwave burrito turned him into a human wireless antenna. When the smoke cleared, Sam discovered two things. First, the burrito had fused to the surge protector, forever memorializing his favorite lunch. Second, he could hear Wi-Fi the way synesthetes taste colors. Router packets whooshed through the air like glowing carp. SSIDs chimed like doorbells. If he narrowed his eyes, he could reach out mentally, nudge a signal, and bend its path. The first time he tried this in public, every phone in a Starbucks auto-connected to the municipal guest network, and 40 lattes were spilled in shock. It was then that Sam realized he had become, whether he liked it or not, Captain Wi Fidelity, protector of bandwidth, defender of the download. Streamopolis, jittery metropolis of 10 million binge watchers, needed him more than it knew. For months, an elusive criminal known only as the Buffering Bandit had struck at random during championship esports finals, at midnight season drops, even in the middle of a mayoral TikTok livestream. Internet speeds plummeted, spinning wheels mocked helpless residents, and an electronic voice demanded ransom. Send 500,000 Dogecoin to 0xbadf0d, or your precious episode will remain stuck at 95% forever. The city had tried everything: charter-approved traffickers of fiber, grizzled cable veterans, even one guy who swore he could clean the pipes with magnets had failed. The situation was so desperate that the mayor, in an act of civic shame, reactivated the dial-up contingency plan. In other words, they begged the public library to dust off a bank of 56K modems. When the mayor's press secretary clicked a link and the screech of handshaking tones echoed across City Hall, the population lost it. Children wept. Teenagers gnashed teeth, their memes frozen, their dances unsynced. Civilization teetered on the brink of 144 PE. Sam watched the press conference from his apartment, wireless frequencies flitting around his ears like gossiping birds. He felt the panic in those packets, requests hurled into the void, responses throttled by some unseen fist. He clenched one Dorito-stained hand. "Fine," he muttered. "World, get ready for a firmware upgrade." He grabbed his hoodie, stitched with a Wi-Fi logo, obviously, and the plastic colander he'd spray-painted silver to resemble a parabolic dish. A superhero needed a costume. Budgets were negotiable. He arrived downtown the next day just as city officials erected a 20-foot statue of a spinning buffer wheel, allegedly, to boost morale by facing the crisis head-on. Citizens booed. Captain Wi Fidelity stepped onto a bench and broadcast his voice by modulating the nearest PA system's Bluetooth speaker. "People of Streamopolis, your packet loss ends today." Every phone in a 5-block radius vibrated with the push notification. "Captain, Weppy at your service." The crowd cheered, partly from hope, partly because their notifications loaded instantly for the first time in weeks. Sam followed the scent of degraded throughput to a deserted warehouse beside the waterfront. The air inside crackled with malicious traffic. Access points hung from rafters like steel bats, spewing interference. Standing in the center was a spindly figure in a neon green jumpsuit, face hidden behind a loading wheel mask. 12 portable routers formed a belt that pulsed menacingly. "Ah, Captain Lag's savior," the figure intoned. "I'm Dr. Dial-Up, original architect of the Buffering Bandit network. The city will pay, or its videos will forever start-stop like nervous squirrels." "It's Captain Wi Fidelity," Sam corrected, fiddling with his colander helmet's chin strap. "And nobody's paying you a single Doge." He spread his fingers, tuning the warehouse airwaves. Signals shimmered, bending like reeds in wind. He shunted rogue packets into an abandoned laptop, suffocating half the interference in a heartbeat. Dr. Dial-Up snarled and thumbed a switch on his belt. Suddenly, the room filled with 802.11b nostalgia slow, congested, 11 megabit misery. Sam gagged as the frequencies dropped from sleek gigabit swans to flabby pigeons. "You like retro?" the villain jeered. "I've got channels set to overlap harder than bad karaoke." Laughter crackled like static. Sam steadied himself. He'd never tried a full power redirect, but he had little choice. He inhaled, imagining a giant access point materializing behind him, 4 antennas rising like wings. In his mind, he set the SSID, Freedom 5G. He exhaled, unleashing a torrent of pristine 160M100s and channels. The 802.11b haze peeled back. Rogue routers sparked, coughing out blue smoke. Dr. Dial-Up stumbled, goggles fizzing. Sam advanced, gripping an imaginary beam of pure bandwidth. "Time to update your drivers," he quipped. With a flick, he rebounded every jammed packet straight into Dial-Up's belt. The routers overloaded, the neon buckle glowed red, and with a plaintive buffering, the villain collapsed atop a crate of obsolete RG-11 cables. Outside, news drones hovered as Captain WiFi marched the handcuffed doctor to a waiting patrol car. Reporters peppered him with questions about upload ratios and whether he would run for office. Sam declined, partly because he hated meetings, mostly because he planned to celebrate by finally finishing that cat parkour video at home. He never got the chance. At 3 a.m., an emergency alert blared on every smart speaker in the city. "Bottling crisis level 2, level 2. Sam, half asleep, initially thought he'd forgotten to empty his browser cache. Instead, a holographic feed popped up. A new villain wearing theater-quality lag monsters on his shoulders like pauldrons appeared atop the telecom tower. "Greetings, netizens," the brute roared. "I am the Throttler. For years, I was politely limiting your data after 22 gigabytes. No more courtesy. Pay 1 million Dogecoin or taste the endless spinning wheel of doom," Sam groaned. "Doesn't anyone demand cash anymore?" He threw on the hoodie, now embroidered with a shiny 6E, and teleported across town by piggybacking on a mesh network of laundromats. He arrived at the base of the tower to find the police helplessly rebooting their body cams over and over. The climb was brutal. 50 stories of flimsy maintenance ladders, each rung buzzing with electromagnetic backlash. Halfway up, he encountered a squad of signal ninjas, freelance saboteurs dressed in black, each wielding a Wi-Fi pineapple. They launched Dioth packets like throwing stars. Sam deflected them with an elegant hand wave, switching channels faster than the eye could see. The ninjas' devices connected to a rogue access point he'd spoofed named free_pizza. Within seconds, their own goggles jammed with coupon pop-ups, and they toppled off their perches, caught, fortunately, by a municipally mandated safety net. At the top platform, the throttler waited, a mountain of data caps incarnate, cackling as he strangled a main fiber trunk in one glove. The other glove squeezed a poor little aunt's box that beeped in existential distress. Around him floated orbs displaying citizens frozen mid-setter. Gym rats paused mid-rep, toddlers transfixed by motionless cartoons. Senior couple stuck 5 seconds before an anniversary message. Sam stepped forward, the wind whipping his hoodie. "Let the fiber go, Throttler." "Make me waifu," Throttler boomed. He slammed a button on his gauntlet, and the very air thickened with TCP resets, invisible quicksand that dragged Sam to his knees. Packets fled in terror. Sam closed his eyes, seeking a higher layer. Physical, data link, network transport. He ascended protocol stacks like rungs in a secret ladder. At layer 7, he found it. Hope, encoded in emojis, pizza gifs, heartfelt text, all begging for bandwidth. He gathered this digital yearning, braided it into a whip of pure throughput, and lashed back at the swampy resets. The air cleared. The throttler staggered. "Impossible. You can't just QoS your way out." He hurled the aunt box like a grenade. It exploded into a cloud of optical confetti. Sam sprinted through cascading photons. "I'm not quality of service," he yelled. I'm quantity of justice. With a leap, he landed on Throttler's shoulders, slammed both palms onto the villain's helmet, and reconfigured the massive brute's personal hotspot to guess 512 kbps, password really bad. The helmet's eyes dimmed as the data cap collapsed inward, sucking his malevolent process into a vortex of throttled self-pity. The throttler slumped, muttering, So slow. 2003. Below, city lights brightened as streams resumed. People gasped as their movies jumped from 144p to glorious 4K. Choruses of grateful memes flooded the air. Drones flashed Captain Wi-Fi across the skyline. The accolades were short-lived. No sooner had Sam finished a single celebratory sip of orange soda than the mayor's face popped onto every billboard, visibly pixelated from stress. Captain Wi-Fi Fidelity. Thank you, however. Sensors indicate a third, even larger disruption forming over the suburbs. His image froze, then juddered back to life. The source appears to be a moving van? Sam groaned louder than fiber under backhoe attack. He borrowed an electric scooter, riding the newly re-energized 5G backhaul like a turbo boost. Out in the leafy developments, he found the van crawling along Maple Street, aerials sprouting like porcupine quills. As it rolled, home routers inside houses switched from green to panic red. Streaming families rushed onto lawns in robes and bunny slippers, shaking fists. The back door of the van swung wide. Out stepped a pair of twins, Lana and Lenny Lag, former child stars turned dark masters of redistribution. They spoke in perfect alternating phrases. Lana, citizens of suburbia. Lenny, your bandwidth is now under a subscription model. Lana, Tier 1 walking your dogs while playing podcasts remains free. Lenny, Tier 2 video calls with grandparents will cost $5 a minute. Lotta, Tier 3 teenagers gaming requires selling your souls or at least your NFTs. The twins high-fived so seamlessly it hurt. Sam clutched his colander helmet. I defeated a dedicated evil ISP and a walking data cap. I can handle excess ICOM kids. He lifted both hands and tried to yank control of the van's monstrous antennas. Instead, nothing happened. He tugged harder. Still nothing. For the first time, the Wi-Fi whispered fearfully. The twins were bouncing their signal off a mesh of mirrored drones, randomizing polarity faster than he could track. Clever. Annoying. Lana noticed his confusion. Don't strain yourself, Cap. Our network's so distributed even you can't localize it. Lenny added, we call it buffer chain. We're basically the blockchain but useful. Sam exhaled. If he couldn't brute force, maybe he could outwit. He opened a public guest network named new_episodes_leaked. Predictably, the twins' control tablets automatically scanned and displayed it as a juicy open node. Lenny cocked an eyebrow. Nice try, but honey nets don't work on experts. Sam shrugged theatrically. Sure, don't connect, although, there's exclusive unreleased footage from your childhood show. Deleted scenes where you both had bowl cuts. He waggled his phone as if teasing a dog with bacon. The twins blanched. Childhood bowl cuts were their kryptonite. Against their better judgment, they tapped connect. In that fraction of a second, Sam locked them into an ad-supported captive portal from hell. 30-second unskippable spots for hemorrhoid cream. Local mattress outlets? A mayoral campaign jingle. Their tablets howled under the load. While they swiped in horror, Sam traced the handshake, poisoning buffer chain with a firmware update disguised as a coupon. One by one, the drones fell out of sync, their mirrors turning from shiny silver to matte black. Sam seized the freshly centralized signal and funneled it into the municipal Wi-Fi, redistributing the stolen bandwidth to every house the van had throttled. Netflix resumed, FaceTimes reconnected, and the Lag Twins tablets brick, stuck on an ad for Captain Y Fidelity's Y Fitness program coming soon. The police arrived just as Sam zip-tied the twins with spare Ethernet. Kids in pajamas hoisted him onto shoulders. Parents wept tears of buffer-free relief. Someone thrust a casserole into his hands. A teen asked him to sign a router. Back downtown, the mayor convened a celebratory press conference in front of the now dismantled buffering statue. Captain Y Fidelity stood beside a podium festooned with Ethernet cables tied into festive bows. The mayor awarded him the key to the city, a gold USB-C plug on a lanyard. Reporters fired questions like ping packets. Captain, how did you do it? Is it true you can download thoughts? What's your favorite meme? Sam answered modestly, then slipped away before ceremony could mutate into evening committees. He returned to his apartment, peeled off the battered hoodie, and flopped onto the couch. Play. The cat parkour video loaded in glorious 8K HDR, no spinners, no stutters. Victory tasted of triumph and slightly of old Doritos. As the credits rolled, his phone buzzed. An unknown SSID formed in the air, evil_layer_guest. A message blinked. You have not seen The Last of Us. Signed, The Buffering Collective. Sam grinned, cracked his knuckles, and whispered to the packet swirling like fireflies around his ceiling fan. Guess I'll need a bigger colander. Outside, the night sky shimmered with unbroken streams of information. Somewhere in the darkness, a villain plotted the next congestion catastrophe. But for now, Streamopolis slept, and Captain With Fidelity finally enjoyed a world where the only spinning objects were the wheels on his office chair, and mercifully they spun without buffering,